some of some of the crew actually would start blushing when he did the voice. He would like come into the room and start doing the voice, and everyone would kind of like
Like
freak out.
But I want to start off by saying congratulations. I know you guys are working on so much right now, so I really appreciate you just taking the time to talk to me with your busy schedules.
Oh, thank you.
oh, thank you
No,
so
no, no, we're
much.
excited to be here.
Yeah, I want to get right into it. Kids today are growing up surrounded by a lot of digital media, but your work feels very warm and very handmade because it is. How do you walk that line between honoring classic children's TV, but also wanting to stay relevant for kids that look to everything being digital now?
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we just think there's something timeless about seeing a real vehicle or a real character on screen. So I think even though kids are, used to seeing digital things now, it's like there's still something appealing about seeing a real thing. That's not necessarily like a throwback or anything. It's just like it's always been appealing to kids because, kids still play with toys, right? So it's just like seeing a toy on screen.
And they live in the real world where they can touch things, or there's their toys, or like going to school and playing with their yeah, like the playground, and everything is tactile in the world that we live in. But at the same time, to address your question, we did in the case of Go Togo, especially our new show, we designed the characters' faces kind of based on emojis, which are
Okay.
like, like having a really big smile, a really big frown, like those kinds of really extreme. We looked at a lot of kawaii design as well, anime. So there was a lot of this influence of not just like, I guess you could say like old school model filmmaking, but also stuff that was more contemporary. And then the other interesting thing is that when we sent the first footage of Go Togo to CBC, our broadcaster in Canada, the response back, which was positive, was they said near CG perfection. And they meant it as a compliment, and we took it as a compliment because they were like, I guess ex exactly as you said, it's like for kids today that are used to seeing like Paw Patrol or CG and digital 2D, it still carried that because the color palette was so vibrant and the design language was really loud. But then there was something, people would watch it and kind of think it was CG, but then as soon as they started to see things move, they would go, "Oh, there's something warmer and more." I hesitate to use the word organic because I think it's used too much, but organic about it.
Yeah, I love that. And I feel like you're so right, even on a day and age where people love to use CGI and, it is such a great tool to use. There's always something about tactical and having those physical things that people attach to, especially kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess the thing is, to be totally honest, because I am a VFX artist by trade, like I did that before. And I think I would be dishonest to the VFX community if I didn't say we also do use CG on Go Togo. We use it as well. It's a kind of even though most of the show is made in camera, we also use CG to bring the little townspeople to life, the little riders that get on and off the vehicles. And then we use 2D animation to do like the thoughts inside their heads when we like the camera goes into the characters' minds and then we see what they're thinking. That's 2D animation, which is some of it's actually paper and some of it's digital. So we're using all different techniques that span from like really a while ago to stuff that, that's much more recent.
We just want to use the best tool for the storytelling. So if the storytelling requires, like, for example, in the 2D animation, in season one, we were kind of teaching preschool math and we needed a clear and quick way to do that. That would kind of, grab kids right away. So yeah, so we thought 2D animation actually was the right medium for that. But in terms of like, character adventures around town, like definitely like there's just something so fun about seeing real vehicles drive around.
Yeah. And I know that you guys have said season two is much more character driven. Was there a particular preschool challenge that you felt was especially important to explore this season that you maybe didn't get to last season?
Well, I think really what we're excited to explore for season two is a concept called school readiness, which is sort of everything. So everything preschoolers need to learn before they get to school. So,
Or in their
or
early
in the
years
early
of
years of school, when they start, they're kind of figuring out like, I mean, everything is so brand new to them. So, including all these sorts of big feelings that they've never experienced before because they've never maybe been around all these new people and, dealing with each other's differences, being jealous, being like learning to share, like just sort of things that are so that, we remember from childhood being like such a big deal, right? But then also things that we know kids today still do experience. Because it's just preschool is such a like it can be such a scary time, but also a really exciting time. And I think we really wanted to capture that whole experience, like emotionally, like what kids are going through at that
We
time.
have an episode about FOMO. We do. And it's a good one. I really like that one. Yeah. And Togo
Um,
has FOMO. Yeah.
I mean, you kind of answered it there, but it's true that preschoolers especially face a lot of firsts very constantly, like first conflicts, first memories of going to school or school-like things. So, what was a first that you guys remember from your own childhood that kind of influences the way you create for kids today?
Mm. I can answer that one
Well,
because I remember actually when my junior kindergarten teacher was showing us the colors of the rainbow. And this was like this burned into my brain, like 4-year-old me, right? Is that she would bring out a different colored owl every week. It was red and then it was orange and it was yellow. And when we got to purple, my brain exploded. Like I remember he took out the purple owl and I was like, oh my God. So like I think even to this day, the really bright color palette of Go Togo, it's not just because it's a preschool show, it's kind of the way my brain works. And so I think ever since there is a lot of purple in the show, isn't there?
there is,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
The roads are
Yeah.
purple.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
Hub's
how
pink
is
and
it?
purple.
Yeah,
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 so there's
yeah.
it just kind of like that kind of really, I don't know, loud design color palette just never left my brain. So that's my memory. You got one?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think like I definitely remember sort of needing to like much like how Togo feels when he joins the transit team for the first time and he's sort of learning that there are certain rules here that he has to follow that he might not have understood before. And I remember one day in junior kindergarten coming back in from recess, I really wanted to bring these like little yellow flowers in with me. And the teacher was like, no, you can't. And I was like, ah, like I freaked out. It's like, just I remember being like, oh, this is a different, like a totally different environment that, you sort of have to get used to. and, and there are rules and there are sort of social constructs that, that are new. So
And that's something that Toko the Subway really does. Like we got to explore it a lot more in season 2, is just showing him screw up and not really understand how things work because he's
yeah.
new.
Yeah, I mean, you got to make mistakes to learn. I mean, those yellow flowers, I don't know about you, but mine were always weeds. So they'd be
I
like,
think I
they
think they
were
were
like, you
we
can't bring them in. They're not even flowers.
in my head I was like, no, they are flowers. Oh, they
They're
were
pretty
They're
definitely
ones
weeds.
pretty.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Weeds can be pretty.
Hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, your miniature worlds often require very incredible detail. What's a tiny design choice that one of you has made that the other immediately recognized and said, like, oh, that's so you?
Mm. It's a good question. Um,
I mean, ordinarily, like, so you design. So okay, this is not Togo related, but every time I make a puppet or a character, Justin says, "Oh, they look really pathetic. They look really
unfortunate. I
unfortunate.
said
Yeah,
unfortunate. Yeah.
unfortunate. Like
Yeah.
really sad." And
A little
and I,
downtrodden.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, like I did paint I painted the season 1 characters. I painted the eyes of the season 2 characters, and but I don't think they do.
I mean, the thing is that we didn't, in this case, the characters were designed by a team of people,
Mhm.
a very talented team that we work with. But I'm trying to think of like if there's a thing like something we designed for Go Togo that was like
Yeah,
Um, because there are really small, like the houses we wanted to look like cakes. So we
yeah,
didn't aim to kind of make them look, and when the crew showed up and they were like, these look delicious. We are like, okay, great. That's kind of the idea.
yeah,
They look a little bit like cakes and the bushes look like clouds, but like also like little marzipan or something. Like it was meant to kind of, the world's supposed to look a little bit delicious, but,
yeah. I was
and
gonna say the lip sync system actually
oh yeah.
feels really you because
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
you were Justin was a kid and even today he's a huge fan of the short circuit films.
Yeah, I mean, it had a lot of influence on me. Those 80s movies, if you
Yeah.
you know what those are?
The 80s
Yeah,
movies?
like it's just
Short
short
Circuit?
circuit. It's about like a robot that gets struck by lightning.
I feel like I do.
So
Probably,
it's
yeah.
very dated. I'm sorry to the short circuit fans out there. It's very dated. But
But still love it.
Steve Gutenberg's in it, so you can kind of tell what time it came out. But yeah, the main character when he talks, his mouth lights up. That's how you can tell that he's talking.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
then when we came to design the Togo characters, I was like, a big thing I want to do differently from other vehicle shows that were done with physical models is I want to be able to tell who's talking, like visually,
Mhm.
and with respect to the brilliant original Thomas the Tank Engine show that with Ringo Starr narrating, that he was just saying, "Oh, Thomas said this, and whoever said that." James said that, and there was nothing that indicated except for their eyes moving, whatever. I wanted to actually have them like be able the kid viewers should be able to see who's talking. And so the idea was like warning lights, like turn signals or like amber lights on a vehicle. And then we basically did kind of a version of that short circuit robot lighting thing. So like when they talk, their mouths all light up. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
everything.
It's very you.
I love that you bring up like past projects that you've watched that have inspired you. Because I'm wondering, is there anything from your own childhoods that you kind of tried to incorporate into this, whether that's a TV show, a movie, or just some essence?
Lots.
Yeah, a lot.
Sometimes by accident. I
Yeah.
mean, I hesitate to say one of the things because I don't want to get sued. Because when something gets too close, they're just like someone was like, "That looks a lot like thing from Thing." I'm like, "Oh gosh, yeah," but heavily inspired by. Do you want to?
I think you go ahead.
Well, there was a show on that was started in the like early '80s and ran into like it was rerun for years called Today's Special. Do you know this
Oh,
show?
I don't know that one.
Okay. So if I describe the premise to you, it's going to sound terrifying, but it wasn't at
It
all.
wasn't.
It took place in the Eaton Center at night,
Mm.
and a mannequin, yeah, I know, already sounds terrifying. A mannequin would come to life, and the mannequin was the friend of the store people, the people who worked at the store, and they would have adventures while the store was closed in the middle of the night. It sounds terrifying, but it was
Slightly,
like,
yeah.
yeah. And
Honestly, it like to this day, because of today's special, I'm just fascinated by like after hours anything. Like restaurant stores, like
yeah.
looking into people's houses as we're walking by. I'm like, what is everybody doing at night? Yeah, it's
But
just yeah.
there in this show, the security guard, who was a puppet, of course, there was live actors and there were puppets, and the security guard was a puppet. And he had this like computer that talked that he would use to like monitor the store to make sure everything was okay. And that computer, yeah, that talked would also announce the episode title. So it would go like, today's special is adventure. Today's special is sports. And so we were like really inspired by that. And we were like, let's have our like teacher character who is Hub the control tower. Let's have her say every episode, next stop, adventure. So we did the same kind of thing, and that's like a carry through from today's special. But
Yeah.
there was also like obviously influence from all the usual suspects, Mr. Dress Up,
Mm.
um, uh,
Like
Mr. Rogers,
I would say writing wise, like Arthur.
oh yeah.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, I watched Arthur like when I was way too old to be watching her, and Franklin, like I watched those way when I was way too old. I was like in high school.
I'm going to talk about
But
the
it's
Arthur connection in the show.
yeah,
Yeah.
and actually, so I'm such a massive fan of Arthur, and like it really did influence like the writing and the characters and how like I approach that. But our voice director, Melissa Altro, actually is the voice of Muffy from Arthur. She has played Muffy since the very beginning of Arthur.
Until like she started as a kid and then kept voicing the character as she became an adult, which is like not normal. Most of the time they recast,
Because voices change.
yeah,
Like
like
she
kids.
somehow
Yeah,
did like Muffy like her entire life, and now we're friends, and we hang out now, and it's like
you went day drinking with Muffy.
yeah, like it's Muffy.
Yeah,
Just certain things she says, I'm just like it's still like I really hear it. It's just
It's a
it's
good
the
fangirl moment to have.
Oh, absolutely. I have to tone it down. Like I know she's like, Lindsay, I will only, talk about Arthur with you, because she gets it so much. But I think, yeah, I just, it's so cool that like we actually have that connection to Arthur, and actually we have a connection to Short Circuit as well.
oh
And
yeah, but like, that movie with the
mhm.
robot because the guy who puppeteered him is one of our prop operators and also our
Okay.
friend Gord Robertson.
Yeah.
Younger people would know Gord because he puppeteered a character called Zaboomafoo,
Love
which
Zaboomafoo.
yeah, so he is Zaboomafoo. He's
He
Zabu.
is
And if
Zabu.
and
Oh,
some of some of the crew actually would start blushing when he did the voice. He would like come into the room and start doing the voice, and everyone would kind of like
Like
freak
we
out.
have a lot of crew that grew up with Zaboomafoo, and
Yeah.
it's just so funny to like see. I mean, it's
He was
like yeah, it's
leaving
like
voicemails
yeah,
in the
exactly.
voice for the crew members, like just to
Oh,
like, yeah. So we had, yeah, one of our prop operators, Gord, was the Boomafoo. One of our prop operators, Marty Stelnick, played the Fuzz Paws, who were like YTV puppet co-hosts during the 90s,
wow.
and I grew up watching
Yeah,
that.
me too.
So that's also kind of wild.
Yeah,
And then we have Mike Peterson, who puppeteered on the original Fraggle Rock and Labyrinth. And then
Mm.
also
Kanye Chen.
Tanya Chen, who puppeteers on the new Fraggle Rock. So we had this like rock star team of
I was
Yeah,
gonna say it
people.
sounds like a lot of celebrities.
Yes,
it
yes,
honestly
not on purpose.
in the puppet
Yeah,
world celebrities like it's amazing, it's amazing, and it's such a small wonderful community in Toronto of puppet people. And when you find out they work on, like, I mean, Gord Robertson also worked on
Ninja Turtles.
and
Yeah,
Lamb
Lamb Chops
Chop,
play
which was like
along.
my like absolute favorite show as a kid. And like when I found that out too, I was like, wait, what? And
Yeah.
it just, you find out all these cool things that they've done, that they just casually bring up. They're like, oh yeah, when I was working with Sherry Lewis, like blah blah blah, and you're like, what? Yeah.
Well, I do have one last question for you guys. I know that creatives are usually their own biggest critics because everything we do can be done better. So, flipping the script for that, what are you guys most proud of yourselves for in your
Oh,
careers?
I see how you flip that. Yeah.
I was hoping that
I
it
was
would be
going to kind of
like,
like rail on
be
stuff
like,
we did
all right, we
before.
did
Yeah.
another hour. Yeah, just talk about
Yeah, what do you hate about your work?
Yeah. Oh, where do we begin? But yeah, creatives, and I think it's so hard to be proud of something you've done,
yeah.
and just like, but I think I will say, because we had such a great team to make Go Togo. We really, just like you said about like the star-studded RC prop operators we had, to Melissa Ultra doing the voice directing, to like tons of people we had on this crew. Like the biggest crew we've ever had on a production was on Go Togo. And I'm proud of the team that we assembled, and I'm proud of their work because it's like, I think it looks great, and and CBC has been super excited about it. We're super excited for people to see season two when it comes out December 1st. Yeah.
I'm also proud that, that like this concept Go Togo that we've been building over the past couple of years has attracted such talented people. It's just it's really amazing to see just how committed the whole team is to the project and just how much passion they have for it. And I think it is definitely something that makes me proud to be like, hey, like this is there are like 50 really really super talented people who really want to work on this
Yeah.
project. Like
And they
that's
bring
really cool.
heart, and they bring their soul into it, and we're all like humans making this thing, which is super cool, in
Yeah.
a room, in a single room. We're all like making this thing together with somebody like waiting to like trigger a little blast of air for to blow some snow, and like while someone's performing a character. It's super
It's
cool.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the beauty of creating stuff like this. Well, thank you so much for your time and congratulations on everything again.
Oh, thanks,
Thanks,
Gracie. It was
Gracie.
great talking to you.
Yeah.